the next part of my look at my DVDs. Hi everybody, and welcome to the next part of my look at my DVDs. We're currently on my just general film and TV ones, and we're 5 shelves down with 1.5 to go, but let's just carry straight on. This is Catch and Release. This is this is a UK DVD, isn't it? Yeah. So this was a film starring Jennifer Garner, as you can see. She gets married, her husband dies, so she moves in with his best friends, Kevin Smith and Sam Yeager. And then she meets... No, tell a lie. And Timothy Olyphant. And as time goes on, she sort of gets together with Timmy Olyphant, basically. Catch and Release is a reference to fishing. But yeah, my main reason for getting this is Kevin Smith's involvement. It was quite an enjoyable film. But he also does one of the commentaries as well. This is Borat, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. I didn't love it, to be honest. I enjoyed it, but I was always more of an Ali G guy. But it has its moments. This is Do You Know. This is one I've mentioned in previous videos. One of my work colleagues was sort of clearing room and was selling off a load of her DVDs, and she was going to list them all on eBay, and I said, well, let me have a look first. And I took a load for, I think, at least 17, I think it was, and she wanted like £1 for each of them. This is one of the ones I bought of her, and I'm really glad I did, because it was an excellent film. Ellen Page as Do You Know, who has an unplanned pregnancy, and it's the story of that, basically, but it's just such a good film. Speaking of which, this is Rocketeer. This is a Disney live-action film from the mid-80s. Trying to find a year on it. Can't find. There's no year on it. It's annoying. I'm trying to remember. Timothy Dalton plays a bad guy in it, and I'm trying to remember if it was pre-Bond or not. No, can't remember. But it's just such a good film. Bill Campbell plays the Rocketeer, and Jennifer Connelly is the love interest, set during wartime. It's just really... just love the Rocketeer. This is Teenage Caveman. Strange film. Got this because it's by Larry Clark, who is one of my favourite directors. I've talked about him in previous videos. It's a bit of an unusual film for him, but it's... I think... it was a TV movie, but they sort of sexed up a bit for DVD release. Because I've seen versions of scenes that are more chaste than others, shall we say. But yeah, it's a sort of a sci-fi thriller with lots of young actors who nobody's ever heard of, as is typical for a Larry Clark film. Oh, it's very hard to describe. Yeah, it's really hard to describe. It's okay. It's not great. It's okay. This was another one of those ones I bought for my friend at work. Again, another one I'm really glad I did. This is What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I think it was, anyway. Starring Johnny Depp, Leonardo DiCaprio in his early big breakthrough role, which, what, did he win? No, he was nominated for the Oscar one. He didn't win until Revenants. Juliette Lewis, who I'm a big fan of. Another just really good film. Gilbert Grape is Johnny Depp, whose mum weighs 36 stone and doesn't leave the house, and she's getting so big that it's actually destroying the house, the weight. And his younger brother, Arnie, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who has learning difficulties. And his sisters, who I can't remember who plays them. But then he meets he's having an affair with an older woman played by Mary Steenburgen, but then he meets Juliette Lewis and their whole world changes. But yeah, really, really good film. This is the remake of Alfie, starring Jude Law. It's okay. I basically got it for Sienna Miller, but it's okay. This is Sex and Lucia, a Spanish film, starring the divine Paz Vega and the just a divine Elena Anaya. It's as you can obviously guess by the title, it's quite sexual, and as you would also expect from a Spanish film as well, really. But Lucia, played by Paz Vega, oh, it's hard to again. She's in a relationship, and they go away for him to. He's a writer, and they go away, I think, for him to write, and they're things happen which remind her of her past relationships, and it's not one of those films that's heavy in story, if you like. It's just a beautiful film to watch more than anything. But that's not saying it's, you know, it's lacking in plot or what have you, but it's the plot isn't the be all and end all of it. But yeah, really good film. This is, they did 90s, I think it was, version of the Outer Limits TV series that sort of upped the sex and the gore and what have you, and this is a compilation of some of the episodes called the Sex and Science Fiction Collection, and it's got various plots in. What's it got? 1, 2, 3, 6 stories over 2 discs, I think it is. Main reason for purchase is because it's got the episode Caught in the Act starring Alyssa Milano, which is a very good one. It's also got Valerie 23, which has got Nancy Allen, who's one of my favourite actresses. And then there's another one. I mean, Fred Savage is in one, Neil Patrick Harris is one. It's, you know, really good cast. I'm trying to remember who else is in. Natasha Henstridge is in one as well. So it's decent people in them. This is Cabin Fever, Eli Roth's film. His first film, wasn't it, I think? Which I really enjoyed. Very nasty film, you know, lots of gore and what have you. But it's really well done. Good young cast. Serena Vincent. And, what's her name? Jordan Ladd. Cheryl Ladd's daughter, I think. But yeah, it's very, you know, it's 4 teenagers go to and stay in a remote cabin for a weekend of alcohol-drenched sex and sunbathing, as they put it on here. And then they get a flesh-eating virus hits them. But yeah, really good. This was, I mentioned on a previous video, when I used to work at the post office, we sold DVDs for a while, and they had these little collections of 4 films on 2 discs, I don't know, $1.99 or something silly like that. I picked up this one. This is sort of an action quartet. These were sort of themed ones. This has got Brotherhood of Justice, starring Keanu Reeves and Kiefer Sutherland when they were very young. It's sort of a gang warfare type film, which is all right. Violent City, which is a 70s, I think, film. Charles Bronson and his wife Jill Ireland and Telly Savalas. I don't remember much about the plot, to be honest, of that one, but it was okay. Back in Action, which you know is good when it stars Rowdy Roddy Piper and Billy Blanks. I think there was 2 or 3 sequels to that, but it's a typical 80s action film. And Good Cop, Bad Cop, which was most famous for being Pamela Anderson's first... Oops. It's on that side, isn't it? Pamela Anderson's first big screen role after she left Baywatch, I think. None of them great, but for something like 50p each, it was okay. Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, great film. Very strange, but great film, great cast. Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, Kirsten Dunst, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood. I highly recommend you all watch Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. And okay, last little lot for this shelf. This is 7:39. This was a BBC drama from 2013. So David Morrissey is married to Olivia Colman. Sheridan Smith is engaged. I think they might be. Yeah, she's engaged to Sean Maguire. They both commute into London regularly on the same train, the 7:39. Eventually they get chatting and they fall for each other. And then one day there's a train strike, I think it is. So they have to stay in London. So they stay together and things develop. And it's sort of a story of their lives. And it's very good, brilliantly cast, brilliantly acted. This is Catwoman, starring Halle Berry as Catwoman. Sharon Stone's a villain in this. Benjamin Bratt's in it. It gets slated, and there's a good reason for that. But, you know, how long is it? 100 minutes of Halle Berry walking around in leather. Can't argue with that. This is another one of those I bought from my friend. Again, I think I only paid £1 to her for this, and this is a 3-disc set. My main interest in this was for In America, which we'll talk about in a second. But first film is Evelyn, which Pierce Brosnan, I think did he write it? He certainly produced it. It was a story he wanted to bring to the screen. It's a true story. He plays a single dad in Ireland, and he battles with his wife through the courts for custody. Basically, it's a serious drama, but it was very well done. In America, it's Jim Sheridan's film. It's roughly autobiographical about his very early days as a Irish family moving over to New York and struggling for cash and that sort of thing. It stars Samantha Morton, who, again, one of my favourite actresses, and Paddy Constantine as well. That's a really good film. And then a lot of fun is Waking Ned, which is a comedy about a little Irish village where Ned wins the lottery and the shot kills him. So his friends find out about it and then decide that he would have wanted them to have the money, basically. And so they do this massive scheme to try and get the money. But yeah, 3 good films. This is Spooks Code 9, which you may not be familiar with. This was a spin-off from Spooks for TV series. This was done on BBC 3, so it's sort of if you like, a young adult version of Spooks. It's set in 2013, which at the time, because this was made in 2008, was the future. And it's sort of post a nuclear attack on London, so everything's changed. But MI5 recruit a group of young people, and they're sort of investigating various things. It's like Spooks, they're MI5, they're investigating stuff. But lots of twists and conspiracies and things like that. But it's a really good young cast. Joanne Froggatt. That's Georgia Moffat with red hair. More familiar with blonde hair now. David Tennant's wife played the Doctor's daughter. And she's also in White Van Man and various other things. She's the daughter of Peter Davison. Andrew Knott, who was in The History Boys and lots of other stuff. Ruta Gedmontis, who I've mentioned on one of the videos I've recorded today. Possibly the last video. Who's one of my favourite actresses. She's done all sorts of things. Tudors, Borgias. Lip Service, she was the lead in. And a couple of other... I've forgotten his name, but he's got a cast in there. No. Can't remember the other characters' names, but they're all really good actors. But I really enjoyed that series, but it only did one series, which is a shame because it ended on a cliffhanger as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. This is The Opposite of Sex, starring Christina Ricci and Lisa Kudrow, Martin Donovan, Kyle Lovett, sort of Lyle Lovett even. So she's a young 16-year-old who's very aware of her sexuality and how she can use it to get what she wants, basically. And it's sort of a bit of a road movie type chase movie. It's strange, it's hard to describe, but it's a very enjoyable film. This is Catacombs, which is a horror, really, I suppose, starring Shannon Sossamon and Alicia Moore, who you probably know better as Pink. So beneath Paris, there's the catacombs, which are all the old tombs, and in the story, I don't know if it's in real life, but they're used for raves and things like that. And but there's something else sharing the catacombs with them. Let's leave it at that. But yeah, it's not great, but it's all right, and I can watch Shannon in anything. Ratatouille, the Pixar film. You're probably all familiar with this. It is very, very good. This is The Lost World, Land of the Apes. So The Lost World was a Australian, I think, TV series. And this, I think, was sort of the pilot film for it. It's basically some explorers go into, might be the Australian outback, I can't remember. But wherever they're exploring anyway, and they find sort of really an area that sort of hasn't evolved, hasn't developed in time. So there's lots of ape-like cavemen-y type people there, and a young native girl who's sort of like Tarzan. It's sort of enjoyable fluff. Yeah, it's okay. I've never watched the actual TV series though. This is actually, we've got two similar styles of films to end up, both of which I love. This is Shakespeare in Love, which again you're probably all familiar with, won lots of Oscars and BAFTAs and all sorts of things, and it's just a really, really good film. As is Stage Beauty. I really loved this film. So, as you may be aware, which is basically the same plot as Shakespeare in Love, women weren't allowed on the stage in medieval times. So, Claire Danes plays the dresser to Ned Kynaston, played by Billy Crudup, who's sort of the big actor of the day. And then the law changes, and Charles II decrees that cross-dressing is no longer allowed. So Maria, played by Claire, becomes an actress and gets all the fame that he had, and it's sort of a story of how their relationship changes and what have you. And I'm not really selling it, but it is a really, really good film. Highly recommended. Okay, that's another shelf half done. Thank you for watching. As I say, previous parts on the playlist. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.